explain further what's going on here, and some of you have knowledge of what's going on, and some of you just have bits and pieces, and some of you just don't have any. But the long and short of it is that 4.5 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, I discovered that Gerald Gray is not a legitimate Little Shell tribal member. In fact, he's not Chippewa at all, and we have our genealogist here who's going to explain all of that to you and some of the history. But I was born and raised in Great Falls. I knew all about Hill 57, and at one time we were all up there, and my mom's family lived up there. And my auntie said, don't ever make fun of the Indians on Hill 57 because we had the best shack up there. But I remember some of those places, they were made out of cardboard. Cardboard and wood plywood.
Pallets.
Yeah.
Pallets.
And so we go up there, and you know, there wasn't any running water and so on and so forth. And thankfully, Sharon Gladue is still alive, and she has first-hand knowledge about that. And so anyway, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood we are not after Little Shell tribal members. We are after the corrupt council who misrepresents the people.
Yes. Right.
And they say we want to take over, we want the money, with that we just want the money. The tribe was already taken over by Gerald Gray, and it was in the planning since '95, you find out. And it was Gerald Gray, Darrell Gray, and John Gilbert put their heads together and mapped out a plan, the eventuality of the tribe being recognized or anticipating the money coming in. And so it was their investment to hang in there and misrepresent themselves as Little Shell. The only one of those four that was actually Little Shell is John Gilbert. His mother's a Dodie, and his sister was my best friend. And so I know that he's a legitimate Little Shell tribal member. And when people get into the blood quantum business that causes a big stir, that's really not what this is about either. There are requirements that the tribe has in order to be enrolled. Those requirements were ignored when it comes to Gerald Gray and Don Davis, Colleen Hill, Clancy Severson. Colleen and Clancy are brother and sister. And this Leona, I have no idea who she is. What's interesting about Great Falls is we all knew each other. We all knew the families. Lemire, Sangres, DeBerries, who else?
LaFramboise.
LeDeau.
Yeah.
So we knew all the families.
Doonies, Gattos.
We don't know.
None whatsoever.
They're all black. What?
Well, that's what Gerald has been doing, is he has been denying enrollment of legitimate Little Shell tribal members and enrolling Blackfeet that can't get enrolled in Brownie because they don't meet their enrollment requirements. So bring them on over and out recruiting people to get enrolled to Little Shell. That increases the pot of money, as you know, when the federal government is doing head count, how much they're going to get for each tribe. And so with that, Gerald is trying to stack the deck. But as the simplest way I could put this is, well, it's kind of like going to the welfare office and applying for welfare, and you say you got 10 kids, and you get a big fat old welfare check. But those kids don't even live with you. When I was working for the Apache people, and I was working in a detention center with the Apache kids, what a lot of Apache people were doing, parents were doing, is they were collecting full welfare benefits for those kids that they never come to see, and they're not at home. And so to me, that's fraud. You're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. And so that's Gerald's thing, and we can't relate to it because, like my friend Henry Devereaux told me, he said, Sarah, you don't understand it because you don't think like a criminal. He said, these people are deviants. They don't think like normal people. To them, that's normal, that type of highly skilled criminal spoke with an attorney out of Arizona, and here it turns out that he went to college with my cousin's wife. And so she knew him personally. He represented the Nansak tribe in Washington, where they were taken over by none less a Filipino family. Get a load of that. And so anyway, he represented them. They eventually got their tribe back. They had a fair election, which Gerald never does. People say, well, how come you don't run for council? I did. I have a master's degree and 30 years of working experience, and he found a way to exclude me. And I was thinking, these guys are really serious about making sure none of the actual tribal members ever get on that council. They have 4 executive positions and 3, the other one kind of at large, what they call at large. Guess who always has the majority vote? These 3 don't even matter. So why are you even filling them? Because they're never going to make a dent into what these 4 people do. And so that's what this is about, is to unseat them. I was made the first contact almost 5 years ago now that I contacted the feds in DC. And before the end of the day, the Department of Treasury on the federal level, this is below, you know, this is the president's level, and below that is the Department of Treasury, right? They called me. They took it very seriously when I reported what I suspected was going on. And so they took it up. Then once they gathered enough information, Chris Kersey flew all the way from Washington, D.C. to Great Falls to interview Gerald, to question him about that money. You know what that Treasury guy said? I lied about everything. He said I gave him every opportunity to tell the truth, and he lied. So then he puts
I have the
out
audit,
there,
if anybody wants to see it.
strategically, he puts out there, well, we had a clean audit.
I have it.
And so we're doing everything right, and we got a thumbs up on our audit. Guess
I have
what?
Okay.
Just happen to know how to know a little bit about accounting, enough to save my life. I'd keep me out of jail anyway. But with that, he only gives the accountants what he wants him to have. So if I have a bunch of property and income coming in from all different sources and I don't give it to my accountant, so I pay my taxes and do my taxes, they're none the wiser because that accountant doesn't know that I didn't give him all the information. That's what Gerald's doing. He makes sure they only get the information he wants them to have. The rest is hush hush. My brother has endured death threats by Don Davis, calling him and telling him, you're a dead man.
No, you're big Indian in it, mocking an Indian accent.
Yeah, making fun of us as Indian people. And then Don Rock up at Fort Peck, who's also Little Shaw, but he's enrolled where his mother's enrolled up at Fort Peck. Mike Atkins, who's part of this organized crime circle that Gerald's got going on, Mike Atkins and his brother, neither one of them are Little Shaw either, but he enrolled them because that's how they're laundering money through their businesses. He's giving them all of that money, so it makes it look like it's all legit, but it's not. He went all the way to Fort Peck to encourage God, would you support Gerald Gray? And to let him know that they're all packing guns.
Let your friends know that we're packing.
They take their theft very seriously. When you're talking about $200 million in 4.5 years, that's serious business. Those are 200 million reasons to kill somebody. I'm not afraid of dying. If my nephew said, well, Abby, what are you going to do if they kill you? I said, at least I'd like for something that was worth dying over. It's taken up with the people. It's not about me. It's not about me. I say, it's about the people.
It's about trying to get it right.
The true story and the truth.
Exactly, and so people who attack me in that way, I discount them right away and say, hey, how am I benefiting from this when I'm the one that's being attacked? On Facebook, my address is posted there. Go get her. You need to stop her. That's what I'm enduring. And when I filed a complaint in Billings this past Wednesday before I drove from Billings to Great Falls in federal court to put a stop to Gerald threatening tribal members with their benefits, like they've done me, and they said that because I don't follow the 7 grandfathers teaching, that they can fine me, take all my benefits that I might get from the tribe and so on and so forth. What benefits? You ain't giving me shit.
No,
Anyway, so
he
why
said
do
he
you
would
threaten
fine her
me?
with her federal benefits in the future too. So he,
But doing that, go back to the example I gave you, if you're collecting welfare for kids, and the kids aren't benefiting from it, same thing. The same thing. If he takes our benefits that are allocated for us in the budget, that's where it's supposed to go. He can't withhold that legally. So, that's been posted, that costs a few bucks to do that. And so anyway, kind of fast forward, we're still waiting for the outcome of this FBI investigation that's been ongoing. I know the Department of the Treasury is satisfied with the information that they collected so far and chasing that money, but can you imagine how many, this latest one, nobody wanted to believe it. This hermit crab water business. The hell, now we got crabs. Gonna have the crab business collecting water for crabs. And he just borrowed, the loan company posted on Facebook, congratulating Gerald Gray and the Little Shelf for the $500,000 they just lent them. This just happened. For the supplies, the collectors want to what? You gotta buy, $500,000 worth of soup labels and but anyway, that's so ridiculous. But anyway, you can't make this stuff up. You just hermit crabs, whatever it's called. Indians and hermit crabs. Well, I don't think they'll go together. Listen, and Indians go together, don't they? But anyway, make a long story short, my dad is Albert LeDeau, my great grandparents is Edward LeDeau and Ida Lemire. My grandma was born and raised in Rocky Boy, so were my dad's family, LeDeau family. My mom was born in Haver. She's a Glado. It is pronounced different than Sharon's, it's Glado. And their last name is spelled different too, but it's pronounced Glado. And so I wanted to end because I have to go here pretty soon after our dear friend here from Canada has got our back. I have a gift for them, and I've been hoarding these blankets. And I thought, well, one of these days there might be a lucky person who will part with these blankets.
yeah.
It's really hard for me to do this. Ever watch that hoarding show? It's like, maybe that's all. So I want to gift Carl.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
This is a vintage Hudson Bay.
Oh.
And I want you to have
Is that a
this
Pendleton?
Yeah.
for you as a traditional gift. It's someone of a blanket. And then we got our dear friend, crazy white guy. He drove all the way from Indiana to support us. Like, you gotta respect that.
Go ahead.
You know, that he
Go ahead.
supports Native people.
Yay.
Come up here. Right?
She-
Oh my God.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're
Thank
lucky
you.
guy.
Thank you.
On behalf of all of these wonderful Little Shop people.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Blake.
Okay, go for it, Gabriel.
Thank you, Shaggy.